Yes. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
This is Floor,
And
and
this is
I'm here with the lovely Julie.
Julie. Hi.
Yes, Julie, for people that don't know you, please go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hi. Thanks for having me here. I'm Julie and I am 32 years old. I live in Maastricht. And last year I made a career switch. So I'm at the moment, I'm an interior advisor and I'm studying to become a feng shui expert. So I'm helping people to create a home that makes them happy. And that's not what I've been doing all my life. I've been working in a corporate, big organizations and a university in the field of innovation. And last year I decided that it was time for a change.
Yep, and that's what we're going to focus on today. I'm just going to interview you on how you made that choice.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you have some advice for people who are looking or considering the same thing.
Yeah, cool.
So I'm just going to zoom in on that choice that you made. So you worked in innovation for the university, big
Yeah.
organization. What made you decide to start your own business?
It was something that was becoming clearer and clearer. I think at the beginning of last year, in the beginning of 2020, something began to, I don't know, there was some certain urge within me that I started to think more and more, how would it be like if I started my own company or if I was to be my own boss? Because I noticed that within big organizations, I had to I was trying to fit in. And by trying to fit in, I realized that I was, dimming my own light to fit in, so to say. So it started to become, yeah, I started to think about and like fantasize how would it be to be my own boss. But then I didn't really know what do I want to do? What is it that I want to start my own company in? But that's when I realized that this is something to explore, and I might, I might need to take my time to explore what I want to do and what it is that I'm really good at and that makes me spark.
Yeah, you said that really well, actually, because I hear that from a lot of people, a lot of clients, a lot of people that I talk to, that they have this little feeling inside, oh, what would it be like to
Yeah.
become my own boss? But then this whole process starts.
Yeah.
You didn't do it right away. Why didn't you do it right away?
Because I didn't know what I would start my business in, and that also made me a little bit scared. Like I wasn't ready yet to take the leap if I didn't know what it was that I was going to do. And then I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll just be an independent innovator that will help companies. But then again, what would change the situation? I would still be doing like the same kind of job, but then for an organization instead of being part of the organization. And I felt that I wanted to be my own boss, and I probably wanted to do something completely different. But it took me some time to figure out what that different kind of job was then. So that's why I didn't jump immediately. A part of me is also a little bit resistant to change and risk averse. So I noticed that I needed to have some kind of plan in order to feel comfortable with taking the leap.
Yeah, yeah, I see that, of course, a lot too. So you have this idea, you might want to start your own business, but then the doubt starts. You don't know what you're going to start your business in and what area. And
Yeah.
of course, you have to take the leap. But at some point, you did take the leap. You did start your business. What changed?
Well, I think, well, of course, when I started thinking about, I want to become my own business, but what is it that I want to do? I think that is the moment when your flow program came into some miraculous reason came onto my path. I needed something that helped me focus on me, and that helped me ask myself the right questions, and ask myself, the right questions. What is it that really makes me happy? So taking time, working on myself, and in a way turning inwards, and finding out what brings me joy and happiness, is what I needed to do.
Yes, because this is also what indeed yeah, and you know this, but this is for the people that are watching, what I of course teach in the flow program, and I will also explain why. You have this dream, starting your own business, and all these doubts come up. And you said it again, you said it perfectly. You have to get back to yourself first. What do I want? What do I really want, to be able to decide, and also to be able to take the leap? And one of the biggest things that is holding us back is simply self-sabotage. How we think it's supposed to be a certain way. So even though we know we should listen to ourselves, it is quite difficult to listen to ourselves. Do you recognize that? Or is there something that you learned from that process?
Yeah, it is. It is quite difficult to learn to listen to ourselves, especially because the moment you start to turn inwards, it's like ego comes around the corner, and ego tells you, well, we're not going to change. You're just going to stay the way you are. And that really sabotages you from, I always think that the answers to everything is within you. You just need to find your way to get the answer out there. But yeah, your ego doesn't want to change. So your ego will block the answer from getting out there. And that took me some time to realize that was happening, and what I needed to do to get the answers out there.
Yeah, and my experience, and that's something that I want to share with the people who are watching this as well, because you're not the only one that I've guided through this process. It takes at least 4 months, probably 6 months, sometimes even more, to really get through this process, because you have to get uncomfortable first. You have to get to that point, like, oh my God, you have to have this realization that you just described. It's actually hard to listen to myself, and that's so weird, but it's true. So it takes some time. Do you recognize that it takes a few months?
It takes a few months. It takes a few months. It's a bumpy ride. There are ups and downs, but it's something, for me, it was something very different than what I was used to do. I'm very used to adapting to the situation, trying to fit in. And now all of a sudden, after 30 years, I was trying to find my own way, but I had never really done that before. I'm just used to adapting myself to a certain situation and go with that flow. And then all of a sudden I had to change my normal way of doing things.
Yeah, and this is exactly, as you know, what I always say, like, your normal is often not good enough. Your normal is just what you're used to. And it takes guts, it takes courage to break your normal and really ask yourself, is my normal good enough, or do I really want something else?
Yeah.
And this is the process, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, true. And it wasn't until the beginning of last year that I figured out that my normal wasn't working for me anymore, because we're so into the normal and just doing the rat race every day and not really standing still and reflecting on, hey, what am I doing? And does this make me happy? That I wasn't even questioning myself if my normal was good enough and if it was working for me.
And just because, I love this, but I always love to break through these norms, these societal norms that people expect from you. What was the biggest thing that you had to conquer? So something that you thought was expected from you that made all the difference?
Mm,
Hard question, I know.
yeah. I'm always very occupied with what other people think and what other people might say.
Yes.
So for me, I really had to overcome the, oh, what will other people say if I tell them that I actually want to be an interior designer? I actually just want to, what makes me happy is to decorate people's homes. But then my first response is, oh, but that's like super superficial. And you did university, you're a smart girl. Are you really sure you want to do this? I thought that people were going to react like that. So that's something that I really had to overcome. And something that I'm still overcoming is that in my work, in my interior designs, I work with feng shui as well, which is all about getting your home in balance and seeing what the energetics of a home are. And that's something that I'm overcoming still as well, because I'm really afraid that people will think that I'm like this spiritual, yeah, woo, oh, what's she gonna do in my house? So it's just all about overcoming, yeah, things that I think.
And you know, I recognize this because I learned, of course, in the last years, I learned to rely on my intuition much more, and also find, you know, deeper meaning in life. And I also still find it quite hard, even though I'm stepping out with it. Like I
Mhm.
help people find their own intuition, but it's still quite hard because indeed you have these archetypes in your mind that people think you are woo, you're
Yeah,
this woo kind of crazy person, and that all comes from the archetypes, something that Freud and Joseph Campbell and Jung have discussed like at length, have researched at length. So there's the archetypes of people that used to be in carnivals with their glass ball who would predict the future, and that's not who I think I am. So I reject that whole area. Whereas you see in the United States, there's a whole movement around consciousness hacking and around expanding your consciousness, where they see that it's just something that humans are capable of. And I see feng shui also in that same area, that there's so much more that we're capable of as humans beyond our logical mind. It just works. And
yeah,
sometimes it's harder to explain why using the logic that we learned, but it works.
yeah, yeah, it is.
But it does require a little yeah, I think it's also always about finding the right words, you know, to be
Yeah,
describe it
finding
at
the
this.
right words, finding your story. And for me, it's a complete identity shift as well.
Yeah.
Like I used to be working in a big organization, and doing the innovation job, and now all of a sudden, yeah, I'm a complete different person. So it's also getting comfortable with that new identity in a way.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And that's something that, you know, I teach, of course, a lot as well, how to step into that new identity. What were the biggest lessons that you learned on how to step into, how to embrace that new identity, how to become that interior designer?
The first step, I think, was creating the vision.
Hmm.
I had never really been, yeah, I had never really thought of my vision. Where do I want to stand in 5 years' time? I was just busy living life, and going with the flow in a way, which wasn't really my flow. But I never really thought, where do I want to be in 5 or 10 years' time? So that was my first lesson, to consciously create that vision for myself.
Yeah.
Where do I want to be? How do I want to live my life? What makes me happy?
Yeah.
And then doing the work, reminding yourself of that vision every day, and making sure that step by step you start living that vision.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of that's definitely a powerful tool to step into your identity. And I think tools like visualization are known to help with this a lot as well. That you really visualize yourself as that person that you want to be, that interior designer, and then really see what comes up. Also, the uncomfortable stuff that comes
Yeah,
up, the uncomfortable feelings like, oh my God, you know, but that illuminates what you need to work on.
yeah, Exactly. Exactly. It's every time you come across a block or you come across something that makes you uncomfortable, I know that there's something there that I can work on. So I either do a visualization, a meditation, or whatever I need to overcome that block again.
Yeah, true. Well, I'm very proud, of course, of that whole, that I'm proud of all my clients because I really sometimes I think I live a little bit through through all of you. I really care. But what if people gets a little bit curious about how feng shui works, how they should improve their homes because you're an interior designer? How can they find out what works for them? Do you have any tips in that area?
Well, it's first and foremost, it's realizing what is not working in your home. So what is it that actually frustrates you or that you miss? Um, is it more color? Is it softer materials? Be aware of what it is that frustrates you and that you want to change. And then go and get yourself, make sure that you're inspired. um, I mean, yeah, we can't really go to a nice shop to get inspired, but there are so many images, movies on YouTube, whatever, to go and find your own style. That's something that I find really important as well. Um, Often when we decorate our homes, we tend to look to how other people decorated their homes or what is the current trend, what is the new color of 2021. Whereas I find it way more exciting to find your own style, and that might not necessarily be the color of 2021, but that might be something that lasts with you on the long run and that makes you happy on the long run. So go figure out what frustrates you and also go find your own style and taste and see how you can, yeah, change your home and make it more you.
That's really good advice, actually. I have a question on that for me also, and maybe that's something that also other people can relate to. So, what I notice is that some objects can really bother me. Like, for example, in our study, we used to have all these, yeah, you have to put your administration somewhere, so all
Yeah,
these invoices, all these paperwork. I hate doing paperwork, and just having it sit there and look at me
yeah.
really irritated me. And also the things, if we talk about identity, I did a course in M&A
Mm-hmm.
some years back at the Amsterdam Institute of Finance, but I don't work with all of that anymore. But the fact that that book was still there, again, staring at me
Yeah,
staring at it made me reconsider also the things that I was doing. Shouldn't I, do more
yeah.
with that? And it felt like, I don't know, baggage or something. Do you have any tips on how to deal with that?
Yeah, that's one of the first, well, rules to say in feng shui is to declutter.
Yeah.
So everything in your home is energy. Everything has a certain energy. Even a vase that you were once gifted by someone, and no matter how much you love the person, if you kind of don't really like that vase, or you like the vase but you don't like the person that gave it to you, there is some kind of negative energy that you associate with that vase, right?
Yeah.
And I really believe that we should create a home that makes us happy, and that we should make sure that the vibes are high in our homes. So anything, and for you it's the M&A books that you associate with maybe a previous life, like a previous identity that you no longer relate to, get rid of it, create space. And in your study as well, if you hate looking at the maps with all the finances or the invoices or whatever, get a get a get a closet with closed doors so that you can just hide it out of your sight.
That's really good advice, actually. Is there any way, so let's say people are interested in what you do and how to learn this. What
Mhm.
can they do to learn this? Do you offer any courses or, personal advice? How does it work?
Yeah, for personal advice, they can always reach out. Follow me on Instagram, Julie de Ronde, or just send me a message. I'm always eager to help. And I'm organizing a course on interior design, which starts the 13th of February. And that's all about redesigning your current or your new home. So what I come across a lot is that when we are moving houses, we get overwhelmed by all the decisions we have to make. Or even when we want to redesign our living room or bedroom, there are so many options and so many decisions to make. So I'm organizing a 6-week course in which we will redesign your home or design your new home. And I will take you through the interior design process step by step. So you will first learn to identify your own style. We will make a mood board and look at the whole, how you decorate the space. That starts, I said already, on the 13th of February. But if anyone's interested, check my Instagram or send me a message.
Yeah, that's really great. That actually sounds really good. I will actually think about it myself because, I'm not moving or anything, but there's still some rooms that don't have the right vibe. So yeah. And is that something I learned in that course as well on how to create that?
Yeah, that's definitely something you will learn. We will actually start with a blank canvas,
Ah,
so that you start fresh and just reconsider everything that is in your home, reconsider the whole room, the whole area, and make sure that that you create a home that makes you happy. That's
okay,
what.
I could talk about this all for hours because I also find this very fascinating, the interior advice and everything you said before, of course, on the decisions that you made. But what would you, just as a final question and final piece of advice, if there's someone watching now who's in the corporate world like you or having a 9 to 5 job and is not fully satisfied with that and considering a move to entrepreneurship, what would your advice be?
Do it.
Just do it.
Go for it. No, sit with yourself. Ask yourself the right questions. And if you don't know what the right questions are, make sure you find a coach, a mentor, a guide, anyone. Don't be overwhelmed by the decision you have to make. It's a step-by-step approach. In my case, it was baby steps, but it's baby steps until you feel that it's the time to take the leap.
Yeah. And I, of course, have the flow program to guide you through that process. So you can always send me a message, of course. I can be that mentor, but I love that advice, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Well, thank you very much for this talk. I hope people follow you, Julie de Ronde. I will also tag it in where I publish this, and so people can easily get in touch with you, and of course do the course because that sounds really interesting.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Have a very good day.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.